Hey, it's the champ Antonio Tarver, and you're listening to Tarver's Take, the most informative take in boxing. Just remember where you heard it first. Hey, man, I want to dive right into the big fight coming up this Friday night. It's Judgment Day, less than 3 days away, and I can't wait. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, man, it's live on Netflix, brought to you by MVP at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, man. Uh, what a fight, man. This fight has really taken over the airways, bro. Um, and it's going to be a big hit on Netflix. Jake Paul comes in at 12-1 with 7 knockouts, coming in off of the win he had against Julio Cesar Chavez just a few months ago. And Anthony Joshua, 28-4 with 25 big knockouts. He's been knocked out twice, and he's coming in after being destroyed by Daniel DeBose. We don't want to forget that. And on top of that, Jake Paul only gave him 30 days to get ready for this fight. And we don't know where Anthony Joshua was at that time. But in the contract, it stipulates that he has to be 200, no more, weigh in at 245 pounds. When I first heard about that, I was like, wow, that favors Anthony Joshua. Because if it was me, man, I would have let him come in at any weight he wanted to come in at, closer to 300 pounds, more so. So, that I think is a advantage Anthony Joshua at 245. They pretty much made him get in some type of shape. You know what I'm saying? So I think he'll be ready for the 8 rounds. He's not really pressed about that. That's also an advantage for Anthony Joshua. But I have to believe, man, what would make, when I look at the whole landscape of this fight, you got to believe that Jake Paul has a lot of confidence in himself to even, think that he can compete or beat Anthony Joshua when you look at the experience that this man has. So I don't know, man. I try to figure this one out. We know they're making a big bag. And, when you look at Jake Paul, man, he can really win in this fight without winning. He can win and lose, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how many people, I heard people betting on him $5 million. I don't know what they know, but I just know experience, man. Nothing trumps it. And Anthony Joshua comes in with all the experience when you're looking at boxing. He has the amateur pedigree, which took him to the gold medal. We know he's 2-time heavyweight champion, but you're only good as your last fight, and when I look at this fight, man, you have to believe that Jake Paul and his team know something that nobody else does. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe that. But what is that? He's coming in, after coming in from being knocked out this year about against Daniel DeBose. That took a lot out of him. We don't know how much it took out of him, but coming back after that nasty knockout is gonna, be tough for anybody. But he's facing Jake Paul. So, these other top heavyweights probably would have given Anthony Joshua more to worry about, than Jake Paul. But that takes nothing away from Jake Paul. You know what I mean? As much as he want us to believe, it's just hard knowing what we know and knowing what I know. I know how hard it is to, reach that plateau. I don't know if it's been enough time. I don't know, if he's developed to that degree of a fighter, but we shall see because, like I said, December 19th is fastly approaching, but again, you have to look at things in that glass, through that glass. Anthony Joshua, last time he came to America, was June 1st in Madison Square Garden. And we know what happened that night. Yeah, that was the night he got upset by much smaller heavyweight in size, Andy Ruiz. So maybe that's something in it. Maybe that might have something to do with it. Maybe Anthony Joshua don't fight well in the U.S. You know what I mean? But if he's focused on winning, man, I think I don't know a whole lot what I believe Jake Paul can do to stop him if he can't make him miss. And we also gonna have to find out, can Jake Paul take a punch? We really don't know that. And we know that the last time, Anthony Joshua had a great performance, It was against a non-boxer. It was against a non-boxer, Ngannou, Francis Ngannou. And we saw how that one ended. He crushed Francis Ngannou in devastating fashion, man. And if he's on his game, I expect this fight to look something like that. If he's on his game. And like I said, those 10-ounce gloves ensure that these guys, ain't playing around, bro. Like I said, those 10-ounce gloves are dangerous, and you can get, hit by accident and get hurt in those, especially being a heavyweight. You know what I mean? But I believe with AJ traveling to America, that last time was in it was in New York. He got upset by Andrew Ruiz. Andrew Ruiz is a much more experienced boxer than Jake Paul, but that would give Jake Paul somewhat some type of confidence, knowing that he's been defeated and upset by a smaller guy before. You know what I mean? My thing is, will Anthony Joshua have somewhat of, will he be mean-spirited in this fight? You know what I mean? Will he have a chip on his shoulder and really trying to, cause some damage in this fight? That's what we have to look forward to and look out for. But like I said, early on, I think Jake Paul going to look like he belonged early on. He does have pretty decent footwork for a guy on his level. You know what I'm saying? And it may take Anthony Joshua a minute or two to cut the ring off or chase him down or get in range, because I believe if Jake Paul is smart, he'll be doing a lot of moving around, just to get his timing and rhythm down. But you don't want to just go straight there in front of that tank. You know what I mean? So he's going to want to moving circularly and trying to set some big shots up. I advise him to definitely go to the body early because, AJ is used to going 8 rounds. He can go 8 rounds pretty much in his sleep. You know what I mean? And when you look at why AJ is even here, he had some big fights looming. He still have a big fight out there that they're talking about, Tyson Fury, who actually picked, Jake Paul to win. So I don't know what, I think Tyson Fury probably just clickbaiting then, but AJ still, man, one of the more successful fighters of his era. He ain't hurting for no money. So, you got to ask yourself, it has to be the opportunity to get back on track with a devastating knockout like he did against Ngannou, to position himself to move further and up that ladder when you look at the heavyweight division. The aftermath, like I said, Jake Paul can really win even in defeat here because, realistically, nobody, I don't think realistically think that he has a real chance to win or knock out Anthony Joshua. So what he can do is look good in spurts, maybe protect himself for a while. But even if he go out on a shield, I think he's going to win a lot of fans over, because that's what I think they really are looking for, that credibility and respect in the game of boxing. And if he can get in there and go a couple rounds and make it competitive, even in defeat or even in getting knocked out, going out on his shields, he can earn a lot of fans and a lot of respect in the game of boxing. So the aftermath, either Jake Paul going to prove he belong or AJ going to prove that we can't play boxing, bro. We can't play boxing. So that's what we're going to be looking for December 19th, Friday night. And my guess is that I believe Anthony Joshua will get the job done. I just hope that, he don't have to hurt, Jake Paul. And I believe, Jake Paul and even Joshua is in the stands a chance of getting hurt. More so Jake Paul, because every time you step in that ring, bro, and we know that history tells us, you can get hurt. So let's not take that for granted. Hope that Jake Paul is dressed down in defense, bro, and he can protect himself for the most part. But AJ is there to fight, bro, and that's what we're here to see, and that's what we're paying for, a real fight, bro. So we'll see, man. But I got AJ winning. Hoping that Jake Paul can prove, something to the fans and to his followers and backers, backers that he belong, he got heart, you know what I mean, and he's a real fighter. Hopefully that don't cause him to get hurt in the process. So there you have it. You've been listening to Tarver's Take, man. Run over to YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tarver's Take, the most informative take in boxing. Just remember where you heard it first. Until the next time, stay tapped in. I'll talk to you then.